Open house sponsored by Lions Cakes, making everyone welcome.
Well, welcome back. Now, our next guest is an artist who lives by the motto, junk is a terrible thing to waste, mainly because he's applied his talents to rescuing trash TVs and zapped videos and turning them into these amazing, as he calls them, futuristic artifacts. Please welcome artist Vince Jaunet. Welcome to the show, Vince.
Thank you, thank you.
It is fantastic looking stuff, in a strange way, because it looks like it's something out of science fiction, but it all works. Now,
Yes.
Artists and scientists were normally poles apart, so what are you?
Both.
I knew you were going to say that. You came from the science background.
Yes.
So when did you decide to create art?
Well, I was doing a skydiving event, and was thinking about some project I was going to do with my son. And I thought, oh, wait a minute, I've been using these circuit boards. And when one looks at a circuit board from a distance, it appears to be little cities from a distance. So if you were jumping for, say, 2,000 feet in the air, jumping down, these would be cities, streets, buildings.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I thought, oh, wait a minute, I can apply that to some of the HO train set models that I was putting together for my son.
So that inspired you to sort of do some creative work?
Yeah, so adding bits and pieces here and there, it added up from beginning to this to what you see here.
Okay, now what have we got here?
Well, this is a functional television. It's made from a TV that was, part of it was not working, so I engineered some of it to get a functional set. And it has, everything is protected, so it's totally electrically safe.
Because I was going to say, it looks a bit Heath Robinson-ish.
Yes,
This is a working TV and not in any danger.
fully functional TV, yes.
Okay. So where are the bits and pieces? How do you tune it? How do you switch it on?
Well, there are on and off switches here.
Okay.
I don't know if the signal will come through in the studio here or not.
Okay, well, we'll leave that for the meantime.
It does function. The standard switches that you'd use for turning any TV on are there. It's also cable ready, so you can use it with cable.
Okay, now how do you stick it all together?
It's stuck together, basically, with a common instrument called a hot glue gun and glue stick.
Yeah.
Be careful not to burn your fingers.
And you've got all these paints, the sort of fluorescent paints.
Yeah, the paints are fluorescent and phosphorescent, meaning that these particular paints, they will glow under UV light.
Okay.
Or if you turn the lights off with this type of paint here, it glows in the dark.
So what are you trying to create then? Because it works, it's a TV, but it doesn't look like the TV I would have in my house.
Not yet, but perhaps in the future you will.
Really? Is that what you're aiming at? Something that looks like it would come from the future?
I think that's the result of what happens. I'm not really aiming it at anything per se. It's just something that I feel, that I see. It's visual sounds. It's when I look at a piece, say as an example, this here, it's a piece that was taken out of a cassette recorder and didn't work. However, if I were to use parts of it that still do work, I'll put a little battery here. You'll see that the motor turns.
And to you, that just looks like something else?
So it looks like something else. As an example here, this is a halogen light bulb, or it could be a radar.
All right, yeah. Okay, so you've got a fair imagination there.
A little bit.
Yeah. How would you go about making a TV? I mean, you start with a box, and it's all nice, all the wires are inside this nice box.
Right.
What do you do? Just strip it to bits?
Disassemble it, get down to the basic components, find out what's working, what's not working. Whatever I can fix, I will fix. If it's something that's totally dysfunctional and would cost more to repair, I do all the repairs myself, or if I couldn't get a part, then I'll take it apart to subcomponents and use it into something else, such as what you see with these other pieces here.
And do you have to sort of buy anything, or do you recycle everything?
On occasion, I do purchase things, but for the most part, I'd say about 90–95% of everything I'd use is recycled.
Right. Well, you've got a huge thing up here. A spaceship I can see, but what's it made out of?
Well, have you ever bought postcards? If you notice that the frame, if you were to set it upright, and turn it on a spindle, it's a rack for putting postcards in.
Right. Now, what else have we got?
The tail section is a small oscillating floor fan, which when it's suspended in a pendulum, causes the frame to move back and forth. The circular piece up front, the saucer section, is the front grill cover of a fan, floor fan, which happens to be the fan here in the back.
Right, okay. Now, I mean, this is artwork because it has no function as such.
This particular piece doesn't have a function other than the visual function. It's what you see from a distance. Like, wow, that's nice.
Okay, but a lot of the pieces do have a function.
Many of them do. These pieces in front of us here, AM/FM radio, because of the studio, we can't get a signal in to show how it works.
But you could listen to your favorite radio station.
You can listen to your favorite station.
Okay, and what about this one that looks like a disused computer?
That is indeed what it is. It's a computer that's been gutted, and inside I put an amplifier, which can be plugged into any stereo system, a DVD, MP3 system, and you play through the piece of art.
Now, this artwork, you can see it as artwork, but you can also buy it.
Yes.
What would something like this cost me? I mean, this sort of TV setup, for
A piece
example.
like this would cost about £3,000.
Is that good value, do you think?
Of course.
You'd have to say that.
You bet.
Who buys them?
Well, I've had sales from various people, such as before he passed away, Gene Roddenberry.
Okay, Star Trek fame,
yeah,
of
Star
course.
Trek. Various other celebrities. I choose not to name drop, but quite a few celebrities have purchased my work.
Now, where do you find most of your stuff? Because, I mean, this sort of stuff we throw out all the time. Are you in and out of skips looking for stuff?
Yes, in fact, I was looking through your skip when I came into the studio.
Oh, yeah. See, we can't stop you.
And if I have a chance, I'd like to go through your tech room and see what bits and pieces you have there.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
And you can maybe make something for us.
You bet.
I'll hold you to that.
Okay, you
the
got
one
a
that I'm
deal.
really well, no, I haven't quite finished with it
got
yet,
a
Vince,
deal.
because the one that I'm interested in here is this mannequin.
Yes.
It's kind of like an android.
Yeah, it is. It's bits and pieces of several mannequins that had been fallen over, broken, and thrown away, so I took them back. The center part there, the breast area, those are downspouts from a toilet.
All right.
You'll see various chemical glassworks from laboratories, an old blowtorch, LEDs that are taken out of old radio systems. The piece that's turning in the center like a heart, that's a motor from a VCR.
So you've got a right old mixture of things.
Yeah.
Now, kids must love this sort of thing, because
yes,
things that
yes.
move and are interactive, I mean, it's just ideal. Do you work with kids?
Yes, I do. I do a lot of workshops with children. We just did one, the World Peace Day, a couple of weeks ago, where we had, with the United Nations, brought children in and took junk and rubbish and showed them how to recycle it into these futuristic artifacts. And it's amazing to see how children work. They have imaginations as we used to have when we were children.
Yeah.
I think I still do.
I think you probably still do, yeah.
But they using if anyone at home were to try this, do not use this type of glue gun. You use the miniature low melt glue guns for children.
Okay, so they're not so hot.
Yes, it's low temperature. This is a professional one.
Right. And I guess the other thing is, I mean, this is electronic equipment. It's got a 240 volt power supply. So
That's the wonderful...
You do have to be very careful with it.
Yes, you do. Anyone doing this at home, obviously, unless they really know what they're doing, all the motors that you find inside of a VCR, a tape recorder, are low voltage.
Okay.
So if you work with your children, disconnect or cut off the mains power cord. The motors that one finds inside will work off of 6-volt, 9-volt batteries.
So you can do that safely.
Right. Even though the rest doesn't work, the subcomponents are quite usable.
Okay.
And quite safe.
Now, the other things that are lying around the studio here, sort of adorning the place, are some really just artwork on canvases. Now, why have you changed it from sort of things that have a function to something that's just to look at?
Ironically, I didn't. I started out painting as a painter, and then when I started doing the 3D works, I added the combination of two. You'll see some, such as this piece here, that's a shoe, that from a skip that I found, is turned into a spaceship.
Okay.
So it's putting both together, 2D and 3D together. Some of them, like the one over there, that's a 3D piece. All the paintings, like the 3D functions here, are made to be seen in 3 different lights. Complete darkness, they glow in the dark, the UV light, and the ambient white light.
And they look different in
And they
different
look
lights.
different each one.
And where can we see things like this?
Well, currently I'm exhibiting it in a place called Stables Market, the Millennium Gallery, in Chalk Farm Road in Camden. And
you reckon you can knock something up for us from our skips and our technical department?
You bet.
In about 3/4 of an hour, perhaps?
You got it.
Okay, that's
Cool.
a challenge. Thanks very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Vince. Well, there you go. That's a bit of a challenge. But it's time now for our regular update on health matters in this week's Open House Health Clinic.